Tuesday, 27 January 1972, 6:55 a.m. One Gabriel Antwater of 1111 Hugo House Boulevard, Corman, New Mexico, 23118-115, gives birth to the boy she simply names him. At Ramon Memorial Hospital, there is no father placed upon the birth certificate, as months earlier Miss Antwater makes the claim that the joyous birth is the result of immaculate conception, not by a god, but by an art installation she rather fancied 9 months earlier. It was during a visit to the Flamingo Community Art Museum on the corner of Divine and Waters that Miss Antwater, who had been quite underwhelmed by most of the pieces within the museum, was overcome by an unquenchable thirst, and drunk from a water fountain she mistook for a water fountain that was not in all actuality a water fountain, but the work of world-famous artist and world fountain appreciator Marcel Duchamp, and a secret Dadaist plan cooked up 4 decades earlier at a clandestine meeting in Zurich. Well, less plan and more a series of random absurdities, leading to a hopeful outcome. Miss Antwater's celebration is short-lived, as the boy, who eventually became a man, would disappear from the hospital grounds, and be placed within the confines of the recently built moon base Psychotronic, the realization of a long-gestating government project produced through the cooperation of the last remaining Dadaist and an East Village communal art cooperative. Upon completion of the new moon base, where humanity's most valuable resource, psychotronic energy, would be collected and housed, the Dadaists returned into hiding in a dimension known only as the absurd, and the East Village Art Cooperative returned to New York to begin work on a new piece made entirely of macaroni pieces, dog hair, and egg cartons. Over the years, through multiple administrations and mankind's inability to stay focused for any duration of time exceeding half an hour, the boy, the moon base, and the other denizens housed there were all but forgotten. That is, until now.
It appeared on page 50 of the compendium, and would make a lasting mark upon the gods whom cataloged that tome. Even the creator himself, Michael J. Weldon, would go on to observe the greatness that was laid out on celluloid.
For instance, is Bela Lugosi, the screen's #1 vampire who's decided to pay back some of that blood that he's borrowed. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a scene in which any actor really gives his best. Well, of all things, coffee and donuts. No, Bela, you mustn't. Remember your career. How can fans believe you're a werewolf if they've seen you dunking? Another illusion gone. It's getting so a man can't even believe in vampires anymore.
Okay, banga banga.
Since when do you talk a native language?
I just started today.
Well, what'd he say?
What'd he say? I don't even know what I said.
No, it was not perfect. Shoddy production values giving way to performances of an amateur script that swung wildly between the barely checked in and suffering from withdrawals of Lugosi to the generic lounge stylings of Dean Martin impersonator Duke Mitchell.
Welcome to the dungeon of Dr. Drac. Tonight, oh boy, what I'm showing you.
But there was one crucial element that raised the bar to make it a forgotten classic of C-grade cinema.
Bela Lugosi meets a Brooklyn gorilla. And that is just about a plot summary of this thing. It's kind of one of those jaw-dropping movies where you just look at it and say, somebody made this?
Must be a big push this time, Case.
The Admiral told me not to tell.
The Admiral should have told me not to worry.
How should I know? Yeah, about like you care. You're happy here. You got none. If they're away in a find it all in the Bronx. You know you got something here, chum?
And that element was Sammy Petrillo from the Bronx.
Hollywood's had its say, but we've got our own ideas about the best pictures and performers of 1988, and here to sum them up is the writer of that invaluable book, the Psychotronic Encyclopedia of Film, and the quarterly Psychotronic magazine, Mr. Michael Weldon. Michael, thanks for stopping by.
As Michael lamented in his original study on the movie in the Psychotronic Encyclopedia, Sammy Petrillo, who looks and acts like a young Jerry Lewis, is amazing. And those similarities Michael noticed to Lewis were not accidental.
Built on on her citizens.
We're all immigrants.
America was built on her
Except the Native Americans over here.
Don't give me, this is the thing of the leftists.
As Michael continued to explain, Jerry sued Sammy for copying him, and Mitchell and Petrillo disappeared from the screen.
Bela Lugosi was so famous that one of his movies was named after him. Bela Lugosi Meets the Brooklyn Gorilla isn't a very good movie. If you want to watch it, don't watch it with Bela. The reason to see this one is that Lugosi co-stars with two guys who imitate Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis, who were the most famous comedy team working at the time. Sammy Petrillo is such a good manic impersonation of young Jerry Lewis that Jerry sued Sammy.
Bela Lugosi Meets the Brooklyn Gorilla was not the first time Sammy had impersonated Jerry Lewis. In fact, the first time he was paid to play Jerry Lewis was by Jerry Lewis himself.
118 syllables. Sad. Real sad. Real. Hey, here, hey. Third word. Half a syllable. Get in. Crazy fool. Don't bother us. Well, I guess we've heard from him for the last time, you know.
So successful was his guest spot on the old Colgate Comedy Hour with Martin and Lewis that Sammy, at 17, took his shtick from New York to Hollywood, where he met fellow lounge act Duke Mitchell. The friendship grew into a partnership, and they performed in nightclubs around LA. And it would be at one of their performances that they caught the eye of low-budget film producer Jack Broder. Jack specialized in low-budget quickies like The Atomic Kid, Sabu and the Magic Ring, and Campus Sleuths. Movies he could sell with wild posters of exotic locations and characters with vague similarities to known properties, like Superman, Tarzan, and Sherlock Holmes.
You wouldn't drink any I don't belong here. Shut up! This is my child, and you can't talk to him the way you do.
Technically, the die was already set to take it to the next level and move from vague similarities to outright identity theft. And Jack had found the perfect pair to do just that with Mitchell and Petrillo.
Jungle, the vast wilderness of giant, lush foliage, of tropical birds and fierce animal life. The killer tiger, the cunning hyena, the deadly python that can
made for roughly $50,000 in 9 days on leftover sets and with white actors and actresses playing native islanders. The script was written over a few days, after Jack Broder saw an interview on TV with Bela Lugosi, and hearing that he wanted to do more comedies, immediately commissioned it.
Kill or be killed. This is the law of the jungle. And here? What have we here?
There is still a charm to the whole affair, even if Martin Landau, in his research for his Oscar-winning role in Tim Burton's Ed Wood, did critique the movie as so bad it made the Ed Wood films look like Gone with the Wind.
Look, Father. I think one of them is named Mervyn.
Mervyn?
Mervyn?
Who said that?
Which one of you is Mervyn?
The story opens with two Martin and Lewis impersonators parachuting onto an isolated island named Coca-Cola, because when committing identity theft, it is always good to include some copyright infringement as well, where they are quickly taken in by the resident tribe.
Coca-Cola? Sounds like a commercial for some bubble water.
To celebrate you, my people will sing and dance for you.
Gee, that sounds great. We'll do likewise, I'm sure. I have this number.
While on the island, they meet Zabor, a mad scientist played by Bela Lugosi, who becomes enraged with jealousy over the coziness between Duke Mitchell and the tribal leader's daughter, Nona. The Mad Doctor's experiments in evolutionary science includes a super-intelligent ape in his laboratory that he uses in an attempt to get rid of the comedic duo.
Video has actually revived the record industry, proving once again that rock and roll is here to stay. Who am I to argue?
Oh my, do I, baby, did I do I, did you? Oh my, do I, baby, did I do?
It is just innocuous, silly, dated fun. And sure, it exists by exploiting and stealing the likenesses and comedic work of famous performers. But it never overstays its welcome at less than 80 minutes and is a marked improvement over a lot of Jerry Lewis's later films.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Doogie, look. There's a Noir bird.
A Noir bird?
Yeah, don't you know what a Noir bird is?
No, what's a Noir bird?
That's a bird that lays square eggs, then he goes...
Playboys.
I love you, oh, my do I, indeed I do, baby, indeed I do.
Bela Lugosi Meets a Brooklyn Gorilla came out in 1952 and was produced by Jack Broder and Maurice Duke, with a script by Tim Ryan and starring Bela Lugosi, Duke Mitchell, and Sammy Petrillo. Stay psychotronic, everybody.